Everybody, so I just finished my initial reactions video. Basically, I put my little rant at the end at the beginning because I thought, okay, it takes a while to get there. So it's pretty short. This was actually at the end of my initial video, but I put it at the beginning just, so you guys could see it because I'm sure that's what you want to see. But then I start talking about what I think actually went wrong in this game. So stay tuned. That's just my little, epic rant that came at the end. So I was emotional, but stay tuned because after that goes my intro. And then all of a sudden I start talking about this game specifically. So yeah, enjoy. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you everybody stopping the stream. If I was a little heated, I do apologize. I was a little emotional in this game. But I do appreciate all of you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for watching. That's not the outro. Just enjoy the video. Y'all know I want to build something here. I want to build something. I want to keep a coach. I want to try something different. But if you can't light a fire under somebody, if you can't be willing to go out and say, hey, look, this has to change. If that means firing your coordinator, whatever it means, go down swinging at least. I want to see Patricia at least go down swinging. If not, I'll be honest with you, you don't deserve to be a coach. A head coach that doesn't go down swinging isn't a head coach to me. I want a guy that's going to fight for my team. I want a guy that can't sleep because this is ridiculous. I want a head coach to lead this team. A head coach that can't be okay with 0 points. And if that means that he gets super emotional and says, you know what, Bevel, you're gone, then that's what it takes. That's who I want as my coach. And if that's not what he's going to be, then he ain't right. Then he ain't for us. Because Detroit has problems. Because the Lions have problems. We don't have a culture here. And something has to build it. Okay? I love that your defense made adjustments. That's great. Oh, that's cool. But something has to change here. And if you're not going to be the man to step up and take charge of this crap, then Sheila needs to move on. It's that simple. And I've supported this guy. But it's time to put up or shut up. Is it? I want to see a change, or this offense better score 40. If this offense don't score 40 on Thanksgiving, move it.
I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, guys don't know, DoseOfDion, he put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are just going to be diving into my initial reactions from the Lions' 20-0 loss to the Carolina Panthers today. Yeah, let's get it started. Welcome, everybody, to another video. Glad you guys are here. And yes, we are going to be diving into my initial takeaways from this game against the Carolina Panthers. Now, look, I know this video is coming out a little bit later. I just needed some time to cool off. Okay, I needed to relax. I needed a couple hours off. There was no way I was going to be able to make this video right after the game. I just couldn't do it. If you guys were in the stream, you know I was heated. I would like to apologize if I was overly heated. I get it. I was just upset. In the words of Jim Harbaugh, I don't know what game it is. I think back in 2016, after he lost to Ohio State, bitterly disappointed. I was bitterly disappointed, if that makes any sense, in our offense today. Honestly, in the whole team, because we lost 20-0. I mean, it was just disappointing throughout. What I saw, okay, from what I saw in this game, I'm going to stick with what I believe, and that was that most of the problems clearly were offensively. Let's start off with the defense. I thought the defense was, they were about average to above average. Honestly, I don't think the defense did that bad. Yes, they gave up 20 points in this game, and they gave up some yards. PJ Walker, he moved the football. But again, it was still something I expected. I expected them to be able to move the ball. I knew we didn't have a great defense, right? I knew this pass defense wasn't very good. I was definitely expecting a good game out of a run defense, and I think they did their thing. I don't think the defense did bad. I really don't. I mean, I think it's really clouded. The defensive, just being okay was really clouded because the offense was just awful. I mean, there's no other way to say they were awful. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. But defensively, you held them to 20 points. You fumble off of a terrible snap that rolls to Stafford, and all of a sudden, they're about to put up some points. They're up 7-0 already, and they throw a pick in the end zone. See, Monty gets a pick. Trufant gets a pick. Defense, they weren't great. They weren't great by any means, but they did enough. They did enough in this game on the road where even though you were versus back quarterback, you were able to get 2 turnovers. This was one of those games where they did enough to win. They did enough for you to win this game, or at least have a chance to win this game at the end. But our offense, wow. I'm almost lost for words of this offense. I can't even, it almost doesn't seem legit that they didn't score a point. It almost doesn't seem real. I couldn't have imagined. You couldn't have told me this morning that there's some way that the Lions don't score today. I couldn't imagine that scenario. There was no way I could have saw that coming. I was like, no, there's no way they're not going to score anything. Like, they'll score something. Even if it's just a measly field goal, which, by the way, we missed one. We're going to score something. We didn't score in this game. We didn't score in this game. And I'm going to stick to what I believe the problem was. And I know there's a lot of things you can point to, and I don't think you can really be wrong in this one. But I'm going to really point to, and I'm going to keep it here, the game plan was awful. Okay? Look, everybody has their own scheme. Everybody has a way that they like to do things. I get it. But there's game plans that you have to bring into football games. You have to adjust. And this is something that we talked about weeks ago with our offense. You know, we talked about it with Darrell Bevel. You can put it on the blame on whoever you want, but, you know, I'm going to, just say what it is. The offense of game plan was terrible. The offensive game plan was awful. And again, this is something we talked about a couple weeks ago when the Lions went out there. I think it was after the Colts. It was either after the Colts or the Vikings game. I can't remember. But we weren't very good offensively. And it was just something that, has been kind of just like, okay, hit and miss this season. The offense has been hit and miss. And without Galladay, we are now, 1-4 without him? And that can't be an excuse to me. See, yes, you could say, oh, well, if we could have been better with Galladay, of course. But no points, there's no excuse for that. There's no injury that the Lions had. I mean, heck, you have Stafford, you have to score points. The stat that was thrown up during the game is pretty simple, okay? You haven't went scoreless since 2009. The fact that you didn't score in this game is embarrassing. It's actually embarrassing. And I just thought the game plan was terrible. I think Sports Illustrated said it best, that the Lions didn't have good game plan heading into this game because they didn't. The Lions' game plan offensively was terrible. It almost seems like they're bringing in the same game plan every week, and if their opponent they match up with can't really stop what they want to do initially, it works. But if they can, then it doesn't work. And I think that's the problem with the Detroit Lions. Like, okay, look, you knew there was no Swift. You knew there was no Galladay, right? You knew certain pieces that were going to be on this game. And you came in with a game plan that was not in any way built to attack this defense. And if you don't believe me, you can go watch my offensive game plan video right now. Go watch it. I made it before the game. Go watch my offensive game plan video. Watch that video and then tell me if you saw us do anything. Now, obviously, I don't know everything. I don't. But I think most people could pick on the fact of what this defense was good at. All right? One of my biggest things were, hey, don't get fooled by the run stats, okay, because they are deceiving. The rushing yards per attempt, the yards, those are deceiving. The 4.8 is deceiving because this is not that awful of a run defense. The only reason they're bad is because, one, they gave us some chunk play. There's a way to attack them onto the ground, okay? You really have to open it up with the pass. And certain teams this year that don't run very well, they struggled. The Lions aren't a very good rushing team anyways. I mean, Lions are not a very good rushing team. They're below average. And then you're missing your top running back. And the game plan in this one was, of course, to start off with the run, to play through the run. It didn't work. But not only did we try to play through the run, we ran the ball so many times stretching it to the outside. Didn't make sense to me. I don't understand. My thing with this defense said they were fast, they were aggressive, they would press up to the line, so you're going to have to take shots to back them off. If they came out and they're backed off and they're giving you the running lanes, you're saying, hey, look, we're just going to run it, we're going to take what's underneath, we're going to run the ball because, they're putting two safeties deep. That's fine, but run it the right way. All right, we're trying to stretch out Peterson. It never worked. All right, we don't have Swift. We don't have that speed. The game plan was terrible offensively. I mean, it was awful. And the only time we saw it somewhat change was in the second half. Coming out of the second half, right, we saw the drive where they passed it a couple times. Not great pass plays. Again, no shots taken. And then the next drive, we score a touchdown, but it's called back because we line up, in the wrong place. We get a flag. That was it. They tried to mix it up a little bit, but it shouldn't take a whole half to realize who you're going up against. You have to know your opponent, and I feel like the Lions offensively, and, I'm going to put it on Darrell Bevel. I think there's, probably a lot of things that could go into this, but they're not adjusting by team. And the fact that we're bringing this up again kind of, sits back on the fact that, yeah, this is the case. The Lions are not adjusting by game, and it's not working. Darrell Bevel's offense only works against certain teams. And a team like this, he didn't adjust. You have to adjust. You have to be able to adjust. And I don't want the Stafford's finger might have been hurt, because when Stafford threw the ball, he threw it well, for the most part. It wasn't like that was holding them back, okay? And if it was, he shouldn't have been starting. If you were scared to throw it because he should have been starting. But you weren't, because you did that trick play and you let him bomb it and he threw a touchdown that was called back because of a flag. This was just an awful game plan, and it didn't adjust. The Lions did not adjust until the second half. And then, even then, it wasn't that great. They didn't adjust very well. The Lions did not adjust. They came out with the same game plan. They would get a first down on a pass play, and then they get to midfield, and then they run it twice, and they pass, and then they'd punt. You can't get behind the chains versus every team. You get behind the chains versus any team, their third down defense is going to look good. When it's third, 8 and plus and longer, you're in a bad spot. It was just run, pass. I'm almost lost for words. You can't put this on a player. Matthew Stafford, maybe he missed 2 passes, maybe, right? I mean, for the most part, when he threw it, he was throwing well. The guy didn't get any opportunities. I mean, I really feel like Stafford got nearly no opportunities. And what makes it even more mad is this isn't the first time I'm saying this. I said the same thing at the Falcons game, whereas if we didn't go down and win that game at the end, we would have lost because Stafford didn't get enough opportunities. Again, he's not getting a chance to play well. And look, I get it, okay? The offensive line, they can get some blame for this. The receivers, we had 3 drops in the first half. Our offensive line did not show up. It just seemed like there was no energy. There was nothing. We need some kind of spark early in these games. It's to keep Stafford, upright and move the ball by passing it. Okay, you can start with short passes, whatever. But man, you have to take a shot. We didn't take a single shot today, even if there's 2 safeties. Yes, there's going to be 2 safety sets. You have to still be willing to put the ball down the field. I mean, teams are going to play 2. If you had played a team where if they put 2 safeties, no matter what, now you're going to run the ball or you can't take a shot, you're going to be in trouble because everybody's going to do that against you. That's where the Lions have problems. They didn't adjust to anything. I felt disappointed because I thought our offense didn't get an opportunity. I felt like Stafford and this group didn't get an opportunity to do anything. Maybe just as a little bit of another theory or something. Maybe the problem with Darrell Bevell is, one, he's too reliant on his personnel, whereas when we don't have Kenny Golladay, we can't take shots for some reason, and maybe that's kind of what we're seeing is that, hey, that's why we keep losing when Kenny Golladay is not here. He's less willing to take shots down the field. He's less willing to trust to take shots down the field, which doesn't make any sense when Matthew Stafford's your quarterback. Again, I don't understand why that's the case. So he seems to be super reliant on his personnel because, again, you have to, as an offensive coordinator, your job is to make a game plan to score points. Your job isn't to sit there and say, man, I hope we get our players healthy so we can put up points this week. It shouldn't matter. If you got your quarterback, you need to put up points. Even without your quarterback, you need to find a way to put up points. Other teams do it. You have your starting quarterback. I don't care if you're missing your top receiver or your top running back. You have to find some way to at least be competitive. There has to be adjustments. You can't do whatever you want to do just because it's what you want to do, right? You have to adjust to what you have, to your personnel, to their personnel, and what they do defensively. I know, hey, you want to do your own thing, but you have to adjust to what they do. You have to have your game plan based on what they do, because if you just play right into their strengths because you're just so reliant, oh, we don't have Kenny Golladay, we can't take shots today, guys. Just can't do it. There's 2 safeties, we don't have Golladay, can't take shots in this one. What are you doing then? You don't think other teams, get 2, sometimes 3 safety looks and they still throw the ball? I'm sure they do. But for Bevell, if he gets there, he's like, oh, no, I'm just running the football. Nope, we run it now. And with the offensive line, yes, it wasn't great today, but even this, where it was Matthew Stafford under the same type of pressure in the first half that he was in the second half? No. You know why? Because in the second half, you're up 17-0, 20-0. You're just pinning your arms back and going because now we're throwing it. That's the problem, is we are so predictable. We're throwing it because we're down by 3 scores. We have to throw it. In the first half, when it's tied, you're down 7. You have the open playbook, man. You got the open playbook. So let it go, man. Let it happen. If you turn the ball over, it happens. You can't be afraid to take shots because Galladay's not there. That's their thing, is like, yeah, he got all these 5 sacks. A lot of them tallied up when, guess what, we were down by 3 touchdowns because we had to score. When all of a sudden you're only down 7 or it's tied, they can't get all that pressure because they have to respect the run. So that's great. They respect the run. But you don't have to make a team respect the run by running on first and second down. Okay, it's just the fact that, hey, we are not up by multiple scores. We can't just pin our ears back. That was the problem. And we didn't start hitting them with screens until the second half. The game plan was terrible offensively. I mean, there's no words to explain how bad this is. There's just no words. I am just so disappointed in the fact that we didn't score a single point. Wow. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe it, man. Wow, man. This game plan to me was just terrible. Matt Patricia needs to see what's going on. If Matt Patricia does not see this, he needs to have enough. I don't know what you would call it. I think you would call it competitive spirit. Me personally, I know a lot of you guys too, if you were the head coach of this team and if you were in Patricia's situation and you saw what this offense was doing in this game, you have to have the competitiveness in you to say, look, this is unacceptable. Because while our defense isn't great, We've done enough to keep this game. You're on the road. You gave up 20 points and you had 2 interceptions. And the game, you didn't score. You didn't score. The fact that we have not scored since 2009 in a game, that's unacceptable. Patricia needs to light a fire under Bevel, whatever it takes. And I know, look, I'm not saying Patricia's out of the woods, but I'm saying for his sake, he needs to honestly, I don't know how I want to phrase this, but he needs to step up and he needs to take control of this team. He needs to take control of what's going on in this offense because this isn't right. I don't understand how a team that has a chance to get a wild card spot after a Cardinals loss goes out there with this effort. Defensively, I felt like, yeah, they were ready to go. I mean, Cook got burnt early, but that was it. Offensively, what was that? You got a lot of fire under this team. You got to be ready. I mean, this is a big game. Not for playoffs, but for you. But literally, your job is on the line. Unless you're trying to get fired, this is unacceptable. It needs to be at the point where I'm calling plays. Stafford's calling plays. Something. We're going to come up with this together because this isn't right. How can you play through a veteran running back? And I like AP, but he's not that guy. You can't run your offense through Peterson. How do you run your offense when you need a win through him, not your quarterback? If he's out there, he's healthy enough to play. That's simple enough. If he's out there, you got to play him like he's healthy. And you didn't run through him. This is not an offensive player. The offensive line was bad. But my goodness, man. I know I could have picked any of you and you guys would have put up points in this game as an offense coordinator. Because this is flat out awful. It was flat out awful. Darrell Bevel did not do anything. No adjustments. I mean, this was probably the worst game plan. And again, because it's the same game plan. And teams adjust, right? You notice that? Like, teams adjust and we don't. We don't adjust. Seems like our offense is the same every single week. It is the same every week. It's the same every week. This is why we've only scored 30 two times this year. And in a league where a lot of points are happening. We're not. We have the talent. Don't tell me we don't got the talent. Even without Godly and Swift. And I don't want to use that excuse, oh, you didn't have Swift. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because what this shows is the flaws. You're going to miss players. You're not going to be completely healthy. If you can't at least be respectable, then that's the flaw. I mean, to me, that's a glaring flaw. Our offensive game plan was terrible. Put it on Patricia. Put it on, Bevel. Put it on whoever you want. That's terrible. The defense, they've changed things this year. They've tried things. They went to zone. They took things out of the defense, right? They played less man. They started blitzing. They did these little things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. They found a way to stop the run. The offense is the same every single week. Every week. And unfortunately, that's going to mean that they're going to clean house. The Lions will clean house because of this. Because you can't. I as a fan base, all of us together, the fact that we aren't confident in our offense with these weapons is terrible. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, 0 points, man. I mean, I don't want to hear it's the Stafford thing, because if it was Stafford, we would have probably scored 0 more before. We have not scored 0 with Stafford since his rookie year. It doesn't happen. You should not score 0 points. I'm telling you, any offensive coordinator in this league would have scored something in this game. We did nothing, man. And it wasn't, all on play calling. Yes, you dropped 3 passes in the first half. Come on, guys. Offensively, I think defensively they're playing for one another. Defensively, they seem to have each other's back. You see improvements. Not great. It's not great. It's not great by any means. But there's something there. They're gelling. Offensively, this team is a complete roller coaster. And it just relies on who we play. Are we playing a team that fits well with what we like to do? Yes? No? Are they going to adjust to what we like to do? Yes? Then it's over. It's over. It's Stafford heroics. That's it. That's our offense right now. I mean, it's try to run the ball. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we're done. Otherwise, we might score before half because Stafford might get a minute with timeouts. That can't be your offense. And unfortunately, that's our offense. And unfortunately, that's going to mean a lot of people are going to get fired, as they should. Because this isn't acceptable. This is not acceptable for Detroit. This can't be the case. Are you kidding me right now? I had to put my helmet on for this one. Are you kidding? Look at this. Look at all these members. What? Yo, hey, shout out to all the members, man. Look how many All-Pro members there are. Like, literally, it's the whole screen, dog. This is crazy. The patrons Of course, the Hall of Fame members, man. Y'all got the gold color. It's kind of yellow, but it's supposed to be gold. Shout out to all the members, man. If you want to be a part of this, all you got to do is join the channel. But there are perks that come with it. Stay locked in the community tab if you are a member, because that's where a lot of information comes out. I appreciate all of you. What?